Good morning, Nikki, and welcome to Business Spotlight Interview.
Thank you for calling, for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
Excellent. I can't wait for the interview. So to get started, just for the viewers and to set a background, could you give us a little bit about yourself, about your business, how long you've been in business, where you're located, etc.?
Sure. So, like I said, I'm very excited to be here. By trade, I'm a communications professional. So my background is in PR, marketing, advertising. I live in the Atlanta area, been married for 17 years. We have 3 beautiful children. And about maybe 2 years ago, we decided to embark upon this, what I call my 4th child, swing. And, it's been a great journey. We have 2 business partners who are actually our neighbors of 17 years. So it's myself and my husband, along with our neighbors. And it has been a journey, to say the least. But at the same time, with owning a small business and entrepreneurship, there are a lot of ups and downs. But we have been open since June 10th of 2023. So we're going into 6 months. And we're just very excited to be a part of the Fairburn community. And they have welcomed us to the area. So we're very excited to be there and to grow with the community.
Excellent. Well, I'm excited to hear about your journey. So for those viewers out there, Fairburn, Georgia, is probably 20 or 25 miles south of Metro Atlanta, Georgia proper. So that's where she's located. And so 6 months in, so relatively new, fresh start, and I'm excited to hear about your journey so far. So to get started, maybe we back up a little bit and just talk about the bigger picture. So maybe can you describe for me, when you think of the word success, who or what comes to mind and why?
I think so. The first person that comes to mind, like I said, I'm in communication. So the first person that comes to mind that when I think of success is Oprah. And probably a lot of people will say that, but just following her from the time when she was in Chicago to now, it's just very inspiring and eye-opening for me. And then I think as far as the definition of success, it just depends upon the person. Success is not necessarily tied to a dollar amount always. It's more so tied to how you feel and what makes you happy. And so I think people sometimes get tripped up because they think that to be successful, you have to make all this money or you've had to have checked certain boxes off. But I don't think that is the true definition of success. Yes, it is great to own and operate a small business or to, be an entrepreneur, but there are people that don't have that, are not even interested in it, and they are still successful. So it just really depends upon the person, I think.
I think your answer is very astute, because in all the interviews that I've done this for, I've never gotten the same answer twice. This is definitely variable, and I agree with you. It cannot be gauged solely by income or by money, for sure. So in the last 6 months then, as a new business owner, what's been some of the biggest learnings for you, and maybe for your partners, but for you as a business owner, what's been some of the biggest learnings or surprises that you've had along the way?
I would say one of the things that I am learning with owning a business, and my husband and I have owned a business before this one, but the one thing I think I'm learning with this is that you have to be able to adapt and not think one way. You have to be able to thinking several ways because of the fact that you have business partners. And so that's been one of the things that I'm learning now, is that I've got to be able to just go with the flow. And also communication is very important because it's not just you. There are 3 other people that you have to account for and listen to and learn from. And so that is the one thing that I am learning now, is that, discussing things that are of importance and running it by all entities, and then coming to a conclusion that everybody feels comfortable with. And that's the one thing I feel is most important for me right now. Now, if I were on my own, obviously I'd have to really think through and probably run it by colleagues. But at this juncture in the business and the type of business that we all have to come to a consensus on, major decisions. And that's the part that I think I'm learning the most about.
Communication for sure. That's a common issue across not just businesses, but life in general, right? So
Right.
great answer. Maybe I don't think in the beginning you maybe articulated holistically what swing is. So maybe just to give a little background on what services you provide, what offers you have, et cetera.
Of course. So Swing, again, is in Fairburn, Georgia, about 20-30 minutes outside of Atlanta. And we are 18-hole miniature golf course. And it's a great place to come. It's very, family oriented. It's colorful. And we enjoy, the community that we're in. Like I said, we've been there for 6 months now. We're going into our 6th month, I should say. And we also have food trucks. So primarily on the weekends, we have 2 to 3 food trucks that come and have different types of food for the community. We're looking to expand that a little bit more come 2024. But yeah, it's basically a miniature golf course and food truck park.
Gotcha. Sounds like a great place for people to gather, which is
Mhm.
always a community the size of Fairburn. Nice, I like it. So what's the vision? What's the aspiration? So you're, like I said, happy you're in. If you look out maybe 5 years down the road, what's the aspiration for Swing Atlanta?
One of them is expansion. Just for background, we purchased a used car lot and transposed it into a miniature golf course, 18-hole miniature golf course. And so right now we sit on about 3 acres of land, but we're using about an acre, a little bit under an acre for the golf course. So eventually we'd like to expand it to the other additional 2 acres. There's some plans on the property now to eventually, maybe by the second quarter of 2024, to have axe throwing. And then eventually in the back area, we're thinking about zip lining. And then, as we grow, opening up additional locations. So that's somewhat the immediate future, and then also like the 3 to 5 year plan.
Excellent. I mean, it sounds like you bought smart, right? You aren't landlocked on your current footprint, which gives you a lot of options for future consideration.
Yeah,
Smart.
definitely. We are flanked by 2 other businesses, but the way the property is, it goes back. So that gives us the opportunity for expansion.
Well, I had my first go at axe throwing about 6 months ago, so I can say as a newbie, I thoroughly enjoyed it. So when you get that set up, I'll definitely be one of your first customers. So
Wonderful.
so as a business coach, I have to always ask this question. So when you look back on your life, it could be business or personal. Who would you consider one of your best coaches in life, and why?
There's probably a couple of people for me. These are like my coaches slash therapists. So I would say, so 2 of them are my best friends. And one of them is from college and one's from high school, Latoya and Lawanda, the LAs as I call them. They both have helped me just recognize things about myself that I either need to adjust or change. And so I go to them a lot with just questions and bouncing things off of them. And the good thing about it is that we're all similar. Our lives are similar. We all own businesses. We all have children. We're all married. We're all Black women. And so there are things that bind us, if you will. And so it's always a safe place for me to go to them when I'm doubting, or if I feel like, I don't know. And the other thing about them is that they're honest with me. And that's, I think, one of the most important things whether it's personal or professional, is to have people around you who are your cheerleaders, but they're also very honest with you and can tell you, like, actually, no, you shouldn't have done that. Or no, I don't think you should say that way, or whatever it may be. But then in the other breath, they're also the ones that are pushing you along. Like, no, you can do it. Like, why doubt yourself? And so that's the thing that I appreciate the most about the 2 of them. The other person, I think, or two people, is my husband, is that he provides a very black and white perspective for me. A lot of times I think in gray, and he just gets to it like, no, this is what it is, and this is how you need to move. And so, and I think it's because I have a communications background and he has a finance background. So he reads things in black and white. The numbers don't add up. There's not really much you can do. And so he provides a very black and white perspective to me. And then also my dad, he's owned a business. He's a CPA. He's owned it, I don't know, as long as I've practically been alive. And sometimes, he'll say little things, or I'll ask him and I'll be like, oh, I didn't even think about it like that. And I've watched, and I didn't even realize this, but I've watched over the years how he works for himself and he has his own clientele, and his clients, like, they don't go away. They are devoted to him because of I think the ethics that he has. And so I've watched that, and he's on his way to retirement, so he says. But I think it's because of the type of person that he is, that he just can't get rid of his clients because they're like family. And so he's like, well, I'm gonna retire. I'm like, yeah, okay. But I think it's just because of the type of person, and I've picked up on that, even though he lives in a whole nother state. But I just have picked up on some of that, and I am very, when it comes to being ethical and being honest and being fair and being right, that's one of the things that I try to strive to be. Now, yes, we are all human and we make errors, but at the end of the day, in business, like, you have to do what's right, because what happens is that it comes back to you. And you don't want that to be the case. Yes, you want the best reviews, and sometimes there are things that happen that are beyond your control, but you really need to operate at the highest level and with, ethical, because if you don't, that's something that will follow you outside of the business. And so you just have to be careful with how you operate. And that's one thing that I've tried to do. Not always getting it right, but I attempt to always think about it from that standpoint.
Did a lot of good stuff there, Nikki. First of all, you pretty much just described coaching to perfection. All those words you use, like accountability and cheerleader, and I just believe that, in life and in business, you become who you surround yourself with, right? And the people you talked about that are your accountability partners and your friends, and your parents, etc., are people that are inspiring you and pushing you forward, which is great. I love it. My favorite question. So you're a lot closer to your 18-year-old self than yours truly. So that this journey for you won't be as far, but I just invented a time machine, and I bring it over to your house and I strap you in and we set the clock to your 18th birthday, and you zoom back to your 18th birthday, and you get a chance to spend 15 minutes on the couch and have a conversation with your 18-year-old self, Nikki. What do you tell yourself? What do you whisper in your ear? What do you recommend? What do you say to 18-year-old Nikki?
I would tell her to be intentional with the decisions she makes now, because they will definitely affect her now and they will affect her in the future. So really think through the decisions that you make, because not only will they affect you, they also become a part of your character. And what I have learned is that some of the decisions that I have made are still a part of me today, whether they were good or bad. So just really think through them. And I would say the other thing that I'm actually learning a lot now is to not make a decision off of emotion, because it can sometimes backfire. And so you really need to step away from it for a moment and then come back to it. And I've experienced that as of late, but it's very important to just, if you feel yourself bubbling up, step away. Take a moment, breathe, call your best friends, and then come back back to it. And, you know, just live your life, have fun. You know, don't be so concerned about what other people might think or say, because people are always going to have something to say anyway. So just do what you want and everything else will work itself out.
Yeah, time is the only constrained resource on this planet, and in the end, no one's opinion matters but yours, right? So excellent, I love it. Okay, last question, just to give you a chance to make sure all of our viewers and listeners know how to contact you, any offers you might have, you know, websites, anything you want to leave with them, make sure that if and when they want to get hold of Nicki or get in touch with or visit Swing Atlanta, they know exactly what to do.
Of course. So we are swingatlanta.com. So you go on the website, you can visit us at swing and you spell out the word atlanta.com, all one word. So you can find us there. On Instagram, we're at swing_ATL. Facebook, Swing Atlanta. We post all of our different events. We have several events throughout the year, different seasons and different times of the year. We do attempt to make the course festive depending upon the time of the year. So for Christmas, for Halloween, Easter, all of that is in the works, but we like to make it fun. We like to make it welcoming. When you come on the property, you know, it's very colorful and bright, and we did that intentionally so that it could be welcoming. And also, we offer military discounts, and so that's, you know, very important to us. Also, I'd like to say that if you see this and you mention that you saw it, we will give you a 10% discount off of, you know, when you come to the course. So make sure you mention that you saw me on this spotlight, and then we will give you 10% off. The other thing is that we just welcome everybody. It's a very fun place. The one thing that the customers have told us is that when they walk on, they're like, wow, I didn't expect this. And because we're in Fairburn, it's unexpected because there's not a lot in between South Atlanta and maybe Noonan, Peachtree City. So this is kind of in the middle. And we're just really excited to be a part of the community because you guys have all welcomed us. And we're just looking forward to what's to come.
I love it. Well, I know I'm personally going to be visiting soon. It sounds like you guys are somewhat even rebranding miniature golf, and the fact that you're doing it in a community, family oriented fashion, I'm excited to see it myself. Honestly, well, I appreciate your time, Nicki. Great interview, some great insights. Even though you're 6 months in on the journey, like you said, you've owned past businesses and are challenged with a lot of things that a lot of business owners are. So I appreciate your insights, and I'm sure with your mindset and your skill set, nothing but good things looking down the future for Swing Atlanta. So all the best to you and to your business. Thank you.
Thank you, Colin. I appreciate that.
All right, take care. Bye bye.
Bye bye.